Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode with Genealogy of Logan. You guys know my new series. Today, we're going to talk about the famous Blue family of Kentucky, and you guys will get to know and learn more about this family and what kind of impacted them. So, the Fugits, commonly known as the Blue Fugits, or the Blue people of Kentucky, are an ancestral family living in the hills of Kentucky starting in the 19th century, where they are known for having a genetic trait that led to the blood disorder methylene-globinemia, causing the skin to turn blue, which in some cases is also known as cyanosis. As you guys know, cyan is a shade of blue, which makes sense how cyanosis did get its name. Obviously, the country of origin is the United States of America. Current region is Kentucky. Founded in 1820. Founder Martin Fugit and Susan Williams Fugit. Final head is Benjamin Stacy. So, now this is when it gets a little bit confusing. So sit back, relax, get something to drink if you need it, because I'm going to try to do these videos weekly. I might do more than one episode a week. We'll see what happens. So Martin Fugit and Elizabeth Smith, who had married and settled near Hazard, Kentucky in around 1820, were both carriers of the recessive methylene-globinemia MET-H gene. As a result, 4 of their 9 children exhibited blue skin, also called cyanosis. Their continuing reproduction with the limited local gene pool, along with the lack of transportation infrastructure, ensured that many descendants of the Fugits were born with MET-H. The disorder can cause heart abnormalities and seizures. If the amount of methylglobin in the blood exceeds 20%, but at levels between 10 and 20%, it can cause blue skin without other symptoms. Most of the Fugits lived long and healthy lives. The bluest of the Fugits, Luna Stacy, had 13 children and lived to be 84. And Luna Stacy is one of the main reasons why a few people have connections to the Fugits today, because she had so many kids. Descendants with the gene continued to live near Troublesome Creek and Ball Creek into the 20th century. They eventually came to the attention of the hematologist Madison Quine III, who, with the assistance of the nurse Ruth Pendergrass, made a detailed study of their condition and ancestry. Based on a report published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation in 1960 by a public health physician named E.M. Scott, who had studied a similar phenomenon among Native Alaskans, Quine included that a deficiency of the enzyme diaphorase resulted in an oxygen deficiency in the red blood cells, causing the blood to appear brown, which in turn made the skin of those infected appear blue. He treated the family with methylene blue, which eased their symptoms and reduced the blue coloring of their skin. His findings were published in the Archives of Internal Medicine in 1964. Benjamin Stacy, born in 1975, was the last known descendant of the Fugits who have been born exhibiting the characteristic blue color of the disorder, though he quickly lost his blue skin tone, exhibiting only blue tinges on his lips and fingertips when he became cold or agitated. In 2019, the novel The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek by Kim Michelle Richardson described a fictional version of the Fugit family living during the Great Depression. In 2021, The Blue-Skinned Gods by S. Jen Sindhu references a family from Kentucky with methylene-globinemia, but does not use the surname Fugit. A reference to this Huntsville subgroup is made in an American version of a television sitcom Shameless, when Kevin Ball, played by Stephen Howie, discovers that he may have ancestors from that group. And so I'm kind of going to start making this a 2-part series. That way I actually get more views. And so I might talk about, like multiple things at once. So now we're going to talk about the Whitaker family. Just give me one moment. Okay, so the Whitaker family is in Ottawa, West Virginia, and they've been doing incest for a long time because their parents are cousins, and so that kind of messes up the gene pool quite a bit because they're kind of doing certain things, that they probably should not be doing. Okay, so today you guys are going to meet the Whitakers and America's most inbred family that speaks in grunts. So this article was originally published by the New York Post by Ben Cost on April 3rd of 2023. And essentially what I'm going to do is read this to you guys, and so you're able to see this information. So if you want to discover more about the Whitakers or the Fugate family later on, you can, because this is only going to talk about the Whitakers and the Fugates in this video. Okay, so they redefined all in the family. The bay-in vocals of one inbred family sound like a stereotype relegated to only the most exaggerated and offensive backwoods cult flicks, which might sound a little bit true, or it might not sound true to some of you. However, one photographer proved that such communities do in fact exist after documenting the secret lives of the Whitakers, aka America's most inbred family, whose members communicate only in grunts and bark as passersby. Only a few people in the family actually have a normal speaking voice. It was out of control. The craziest thing I've ever seen, documenting Mark Lyda, 63, recalled recently on the Concrete Podcast. He was describing his first ever encounter with the Whitakers, who reside in the rural mountain town of Ottawa, West Virginia, which boasts an famously tight-knit population of around 779 people. Lyda spent extensive time with the infamously incestuous clan, visiting him in 2009 for his book entitled Created Equal, and most recently last year for an impromptu reunion. He also chronicles his seldom seen slides of Appalachia regularly for his podcast Soft White Underbelly, which specializes in interviews and portraits of the human condition for an audience of around 4.56 million YouTube subscribers. The surviving Whitaker family tree is currently comprised of siblings Betty, Lorraine, and Ray. Betty can actually talk, as well as cousin Timmy after their brother Freddie died of a heart attack. However, there's reportedly an unnamed sister and other family members who Lyda had never met. I actually work on Ancestry.com, and the reason why I thought about talking about the Fugate family and the Whitaker family is that I've been researching the Fugates for a while, but also my 8th cousin married one of the Whitakers, and so it kind of piqued my interest to make a video about this so you guys can get new information. Despite the fact that they don't complain, it's a really rough life. There's these people walking around, their eyes are going in different directions, and they are barking at us. Mark Lyda, undocumented Whitakers of Odd, West Virginia. Of the three remaining relatives, only Timmy graduated high school. Timmy is Lorraine's son, and the way that happened is that Lorraine was actually raped. During his flagship visit, the camera welding practitioner was approached by a shotgun-toting neighbor who threatened to use it if the production team didn't leave them be. They don't like people coming to ridicule these people, said Leda, who is eventually allowed to snap pictures despite the initial distrust. Leda analogized the scene to something out of Deliverance. Director John Boorman's chilling Oscar-nominated 1972 film about dueling banjo mountain folk that's based on the James Dickey novel of the same name. There's these people walking around and their eyes are going different directions and they're barking at us, the astonished chronicler explained. The one guy, you'd look at him in the eye or say something and he'd scream and go running away and his pants would fall down his ankles and he'd go running off and go kick the garbage can. This would happen over and over. In this case, he's talking about Ray. Accompanying footage taken from a 2021 visit shows the family on the porch of their rundown dwelling with belongings strewn about like a scene from the Dust Bowl. The West Virginian family has a long and complicated history of inbreeding, with early reports stating that the three siblings now deceased from mom and dad were brother and sister. The family later clarified that they were double first cousins, meaning that they share both sets of grandparents, and I found that when I did work on my 8th cousin's wife, because she was Barbara Whitaker. Keeping it all in the family led to a host of mental and physical aberrations, with some members only communicating via grunts and squawks, as is evident in Leda's videos posted to his podcast. Despite their communication limitations, the Whitakers seem to comprehend the photographer's questions. I don't understand what you're talking about, a relative told Leda. If they don't like it, they start yelling. Let you know they don't like that idea. According to Thought Company, a hub of expert-created education context, and breeding can lead to a host of side effects ranging from smaller adult size and reduced fertility to an increased risk of genetic disorders. In rare instances, it can even lead to sapphire-colored skin, as the case of the infamous Lou Fugates, which we previously talked about. The Whitakers didn't seem to grasp that their genetic issues stemmed from self-pollination in the family tree. When the portraitist asked family member Kenneth why their eyes were facing forward, the man responded, "Might be coal mining." Naturally, Leda's series might seem exploitative, akin to a carnival sideshow. Melanie West and Shane Simmons of the Real Appalachian YouTube channel recently accused the documentary perpetrated the Appalachian inbreeding stereotype that is around for decades. However, Leda, who has also shot commercials for the likes of major brands such as Nike and Apple, claimed on concrete that he wanted to show the level of poverty that the Whitakers faced. The photographer has since set up a GoFundMe to help the West Virginian clan with living expenses and home improvements. It has raised nearly $50,000 of its $75,000 goal. In a video taken during Leda's most recent visit in 2022, Ray is seen taking a photographer on a crib-style house tour around her newly renovated domicile, which now has a refrigerator along with a box spring and other amenities thanks to the fundraising efforts. At one point, Ray squawks excitedly while showing Leda a dent in their new truck from where it hit a deer. Leda, for one, says that ultimately his goal is to shed light on issues in parts of the country that people seldom see. People can say that in Appalachia are leading these wonderful lives. Leave them be, he explained. But they could also get a lot more support from the government or corporations or something so they could not be digging up roots in the middle of the winter, climbing mountains to survive on $10,000 a year. That's not a lot of money, by the way. He added, despite the fact they don't complain, it is a really rough life.